there's a fair amount of burden saying the things that I'm saying. In the end, it's anything but a conspiracy theory. It's simply the way that things are. It's troubling, it's frustrating if having a spiritual view on current events is troubling to so many. But it does. This is part of the human struggle. This is something like people like myself, philosophers, not revolutionaries, not trying to revolve around in a circle to where we started, philosophers. And of course, there are other descriptions, but I'm a philosopher. And I philosophize on the state of our predicament as spirits in human form. And I think this knowledge is within many, but ultimately it's transferred via the soul. Whether it's coming to this plane of reality for the first time or it's a return player in the game, in the cosmic game, playing out here on Earth, where I see the things happening down below, reflection of above. See the inversion, and I don't believe in living a life where I go about doing other things that doesn't involve discussing my witnessing of the inversion. I'm talking about the inversion of politics, inversion of sexuality in some cases, inversion of relationships, inversion of reality via the internet. And inherently, certain things aren't evil. It's the inversion or the misuse of energy. Talk about the sun. How many of our ancestors have developed information about the sun and how much of that is overlooked? Yet at the same time, science, with their quantum theories, is the universe a hologram? We've already reached this stage where the spiritual speculation meets science. What I don't believe in is pressuring people to believe as I believe, and the whole world waking up. This is a struggle that philosophers throughout time have endured, here and perhaps elsewhere. And perhaps some of you are going through the same thing, however you may describe yourselves. But I tend to think outside the box of these labels. But I am far more of a philosopher than someone that is into politics, than someone that is, I would even use the word journalist or reporter. Sure, I've reported on things, but due to the expanded scope of my commentary, things that people consider speculative, it's unfortunately, in the eyes of some, put in the box of conspiracy theory. And it does prevent me from reaching many, many people around the world. Yet at the same time, I don't believe in watering down the message. I see value in the message being transmitted through words, written form, as I'll be doing more in the future, and contemplating, discussing these larger issues without losing people at times with some of my own specific theories, which I believe outright are factual. It's just how I'm viewing this reality. But I could be getting into a topic that a certain amount of the audience base may be jiving to, and reasons why they're subscribing to this channel, and then they can come across something else that they see that they perceive to be opposed to their political views, and they may misread my criticism of a politician or a policy or a group with association or favoritism to the other group because they're new to my work, or for whatever reason, they're not able to pick up on the fact that I'm a political, spiritual independent operating outside of creed, nationality, religion, and even the identification with race. There's a reason that I've always identified with other, and I've always felt different, and I've always chosen to step back from society because I'm a philosopher and I'm a contrarian. And for whatever reason, within this lifetime, I mean, it's not just delegated to what's perceived as political views or um, other views on other things, and now even without getting into specifics and not to lose anyone, just different things that I've covered. Topic A, topic B, topic C. When I look back at the 12 years of videos, I see a catalog of information at the same time that may be misunderstood and viewed now as speculative. Conspiracy theory, New Age. You know, I don't believe that real spirituality is New Age, and I don't believe that a lot of these things that go for New Age are necessarily spiritual. And people with their atheistic or orthodox religious viewpoints can easily label spiritual views as New Age. So I've dealt with some of that as well, not to mention the off grid stereotypes and some of the stuff that I faced in recent years, traveling to certain places and overcoming those challenges. But would I change it for the world to be somebody else? To have a family, per se, a picket fence, a life in suburbia, a respected man, maybe a manager at Office Depot. Alex Ansary, at your service. Hello, how are you enjoying your evening tonight? Is there anything I can get you? Playing the manager at Olive Garden. Really getting that salary, getting that credit line up, having old debts paid off, having a decent looking car. It's in great running shape. But would I be happy being someone wearing a mask? Someone else is generally happy, appeasing society, staying out of speculative topics, staying out of controversy, then that's their life. But it could be argued that's an easier way of life. The life that I picked is not a life that comes with. Not that I want that, but the bra, so to speak, being thrown at the rock star. In fact, that's something to be suspicious of if it's happening for the wrong reasons. Affection, attention, misuse of sexuality. So I've learned a lot of things about people and my interactions with people as a speaker. Now in my 12th year, now off the grid. Some people wondered why I embarked on this path years ago. I think there are fewer today. But when I think about something that reaches everybody without controversy, it's the spiritual path. And I think that there are detrimental aspects of our culture, ethnocentric behavior, that turns its nose up. There are people that have been abused by people in the church. There are people that are seeing others that they consider fake, that call themselves spiritual. And so there's a sense of nihilism that over the years I will also come across. Not to blame them, but I'm not going to change who I am. Because the more I see this country spiritually and where it's going, I see it going to a place where karma's returning to it, and there's a natural flow, and things almost seem to be speeding up, and things on one level appear to be horrific with victims everywhere, and then you look at things from another level and you wonder, well, why are we really here? And it surely seems on another level that we have been given a fair amount of time since the advent of the internet to connect, to create uncompromised political groups, communities, not cults, mindful expressions of intentional community. And why haven't we seen that? We've seen a sizable portion of our society avoid that type of responsibility and risk. It takes a little bit of risk to go outside your comfort zone, working at the same job, feeling the need to be in a relationship. and other things that surround the human experience. There's nothing to demonize about the human experience. But can we become entrapped by our senses? It's where we're chasing particular pleasures, yet we're avoiding who we are. And yet, one part of us is happy, yet another part of us are sad and feels unfulfilled. So when I see the social ills, there's people that think that they're happy from the materialism, but I look at the alcoholism, I look at the gangs, I look at the violence, I look at some of the other interests people are developing online that I don't think are healthy for men or women, and the different things that I've mentioned. And then it's from a philosopher's perspective, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Were humans always like this? Has it always been this way? How long has this been going on? And then we also philosophize on the rise and fall of civilizations. And then we can get scientific and we can look at the sun. Maurice Cotterell has a lot of great information. I haven't read his book, Future Science, but an excellent interview on Coast to Coast on cycles of the sun, not to get too deep, but periods in which the sun's poles flip, or other particular cycles, long-term cycles, in which the fertility rates on the earth are regulated. There are certain periods in which cosmic rays and other factors increase miscarriages, lowering dramatically the population on earth by changes in our magnetic field, changes in the stars, changes in the sun. And we seem to go through a natural reset. Are we moving into that now? Let's move into the 2020s. Then I attempt to look at this period, which fascinates me, of 2020 to 2022, 2025, as we bring facts in, scientific facts. Solar maximum, two stars colliding, plans for World War III. Other people have their own Enlightenment rapture theories which continue, elements of the New Age movement on the internet. What is true? What is false? And will there really be a World War III, as some people want to ask? Because many don't want to see it happen, despite the years of preparation by these governments, as they've shown us repeatedly what they're building and where they're taking this. What will it take to reverse the plans for war? So I don't see it as conspiracy theory. A philosophy, man reaching this point, this pinnacle, you could even call it a Tower of Babel, and nature have a way of humbling the species. I don't want to get too speculative now. There's been a lot of manipulation of religions, perhaps our DNA, but I do believe in a creator. So ultimately, we have to think beyond our bodies and recenter on our spirit. Some say the real spiritual self inside the heart, not the physical heart, and the connection with the inner mind. This is not the occult or the dark occult. This is what people misunderstand, that have been conditioned by Orthodox religion to fear. What is there to fear about looking for the answers within, about what we're really doing here? It's not a conspiracy theory to ask honest questions when you know it's a media monopoly, why they promote the zombie apocalypse. Movies and themes, and how do you deal with the zombie? It's basically murder. They talk about zombie outbreaks and what can happen. People publish things and talk about cycles of zombie outbreaks. There's another one coming. As people get prepped with movies, apocalyptic scripts, but they're not really being told how to deal with potential threats. And in the end, you have a less prepared population due to these movies because of the desensitizing effect. It is certainly not my intention to frighten people. To let you know, there's a reason why they're doing this, and they've done this for many, many years, and these movies have been coming out, and things seem to be getting more twisted. It's an attack on human consciousness, because within our lifetimes, they're taking us to a place. From my spiritual perspective, it's a place that we chose to come. I believe we chose to come here. I believe I picked this body. I believe you picked yours as well. And it is happening on a much deeper level than that which we understand. So I will pause and come back.